Hey, what's happening? Get one, SirJames coming at you guys with another video. In today's video, I'm here to give you guys an update on the channel and of course to talk about VR coverage as well. So first things first is that my channel is less than 100 subscribers away from reaching 27,000 subscribers. Super stoked about that. And my main goal this year is to try to reach 30,000 if not more. And my main future goal, which I haven't really talked about, is that one day or 1 year, who knows when it's going to happen, to be honest, but I would love to one day reach 100,000 subscribers. That is my biggest dream here on YouTube, is reaching 100,000 subscribers. Most people aim for 1 million, but I look for a more realistic goal, and just hopefully one day we'll get there. But anyways, let's go ahead and talk about VR content here on the channel. If you didn't know, or if you haven't been here for the past couple of days, I now have an HTC Vive, so that's super exciting news for me. And of course here on the channel as well. And one thing I want to clear up is that some people were under the impression that because I bought this, I was no longer going to be providing content for PlayStation VR, or that I was going to sell it. But it wouldn't make sense because I kind of invested a lot into PlayStation VR. Actually, I have over 50 games on PlayStation VR and so many different accessories that I covered as well. So it kind of makes no sense for me to sell it off and just to stop supporting it. Especially when I was unboxing this, I talked about how excited I was for Farpoint, which is a PlayStation VR exclusive. So one thing to be clear is that I am not stopping content for this at all. Alongside PlayStation VR, I will now also be doing the HTC Vive, which again gives me more opportunities and more things that I could cover on this channel, because I think VR is going pretty strong. Because for me, when I first started off YouTube, I knew I was going to have a gaming channel, but the thing is I didn't really have like a particular theme or a purpose. And then I found a purpose with the Kinect on the Xbox 360 at the time, and partial of the Xbox One. But next thing you know, Microsoft killed off the Kinect, so that kind of kills a purpose on my channel. And so content's going back and forth, trying to find out, okay, what's the next thing that I could possibly do on the channel that's going to help grow, interest people, and of course something that I could use to entertain you guys. And next thing you know, it's like VR. VR is pretty big on the market, and it's only getting better and better. And so at the time, I invested into the PlayStation VR at the time because, again, it was new. People are going to be curious about it, and I figured that's going to drive the views and help the channel a lot, which has done tremendous, which I definitely appreciate that, which I do like the PlayStation VR, by the way, so it's not like I hate it. And now I have an HTC Vive, so now I could expand more on that. And there's a lot of stuff coming out for this that I'm super excited for, which I'll talk about in just a moment. So again, I have content coverage for both PlayStation VR and the HTC Vive. So nothing to worry about, because like I said, the next big game that I'm doing on this one here is Farpoint. That is coming out in like less than 2 weeks from now. I got the whole gun and game bundle, which is like around $80. So definitely be on the lookout for that one. I think that one comes out on the 16th of next month. So can't wait, and hopefully that one turns out well. So fingers crossed. But anyways, let's go ahead and talk about the HTC Vive. You know, how was the initial setup? You know, any issues? So let me go ahead and put this down. Oh, which by the way, if you didn't know, Call of Duty World War II was announced. I'm super stoked about it. I'm not a huge Call of Duty fan, but I love the classic Call of Duty games. So when I heard the next one was World War II, I got so excited. But definitely can't wait for that one. But anyways, back to the HTC Vive. I was kind of hoping to show off a product that I ordered. It should be coming in the next couple hours or the next 5 minutes, who knows. But I ordered an accessory for this. It's a cover here, a silicone cover to kind of protect this little front screen here. Because again, this is $800. The last thing that I want to happen to this is for something to happen to where it breaks. So again, it's a silicone cover. They come in a variety of different colors. The one I went with is red, kind of give it more of that cyborg look for when I'm using the green screen. So I think that'll look pretty good. It didn't make sense to get green because then like the top half of my head would be cut off. But the initial setup was actually pretty easy. There's a few things that I kind of had a workaround. For one, I didn't have to worry about the room space because I knew I would be able to have the full room scale VR, which means I get to walk around in this virtual environment, something that you don't really get to do with PlayStation. I mean, you could kind of, depending on the game, but not as advanced as the HTC Vive. Now, as for the cameras, I knew where I was going to place the cameras, but I had that decision, which I'm sure a lot of you who eventually get one is, okay, do you want to use the wall mounts and screw it into the wall? Do you want to get a tripod? What are you going to use? I actually used both methods. What I mean is, this is what I'm talking about here. So this, it's not really a tripod because the tripod doesn't go high enough, because it recommends that you go like 6 feet plus angle the camera down at like 30 or 40 degrees. So this is like a stand from my lights that I have that I've been using with my green screen. I'm using 2 of them right now to kind of light up the scenario. Otherwise my room is normally pretty dark. And so what I did is that I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. Is like, okay, I don't want to screw it into the wall, because, you know, what if I mess something up, or it's something I'm going to have to patch later on down the road. So I figured, okay, brainstorm, okay, let's try to MacGyver it a little bit. At first I was going to take this and I was going to screw into the stand, because these are just little cheapo stands, I mean super light, and these are basically hollow. But I realized that I didn't have a screw gun, so I was like, okay, that's not going to work. And so I just got some zip it tied here on the top, here on the bottom, and then, well, there you go. Simple as that. So that's how my lights are set up. And when I'm playing, one of the lights will go up here, and they're angled at the same height, and I have another one up in the corner by my green screen. So again, setup process was simple. One of the things that I had to tweak around a bit was you get to the point in the instruction after you cone off your play area, because you kind of trace your safe zone, and basically when you're in the VR world, there's like a blue barrier that pops up if you're getting too close to an object, or basically to an area that's basically off your safety zone. And one of the things that you had to do was it told you to like hold your controller straight out and point at your screen. You don't technically have to point at your computer screen, because it's not using any camera off your computer. It's just using the 2 cameras here. But it's basically whatever your center point is, you put your controller forward, hold the button down, and when I did that, I realized that every time a game would load up, it would load up behind me, which in this circumstance, since if I'm going to record videos for you guys, behind me would be the giant green screen wall, which means my back would be towards the camera as I'm playing the game, which wouldn't make sense for me to do. So I went through the setup again, but I pointed the completely opposite. So I pointed straight at the green screen wall, which then it made it the complete opposite. So meaning that instead of the back wall being the front screen, you know, towards the camera, towards you guys, would be the main play screen, and which is why I did that longbow demo. So I got that working. The other thing I realized too is that as for the connections and stuff like that, the connections weren't a big issue, but I realized that it when you hook it up to your computer, it uses a HDMI slot on your graphics card. The graphics card that I have is the NVIDIA GTX 1070, which only has one HDMI slot, but a bunch of display ports, which I didn't have any cables for a display port. And so I kind of have to unplug my monitor and plug that in. It's a little bit of a mess, but thankfully I did look online, and apparently you can hook up a display port to mini display port, which I have a cable that should be coming in probably tomorrow or Saturday, I believe, is when I get it. So again, that's not really a big issue. The only other thing that I'm trying to solve right now is kind of audio for when I record videos for you guys, because if I'm going to do commentary, I need to be able to kind of talk, not have the game volume so loud. And it's again just a little bit of workaround. And the only other issue was the controllers, because let me unplug this here. Because another part of the setup guide is that you had to have your controllers and the headset and view of the cameras, and nothing was happening after I was pushing the button. And one of the things that it fails to tell you is that you have to go to like the Steam VR thing, and you have to click this little box, and you have to pair the controller first before you get to that step. And so after I had to solve that, again, I was basically good to go. So again, setup was straightforward, simple as that. And before I forget, I want to, actually no, before I talk about that, my only other issue is that I don't really like the head strap here. The reason why I say that is because the head strap kind of rests like up to this point. And so there's some situations, some games I have that I'll talk about in just a moment, where if I'm looking down, I feel like the headset's going to fall forward. And yes, you can fix that by tightening up the straps, but I choose not to do that because I want to be able to have air to go through, so you know I could breathe and not have to worry about any sweat buildup. And they have like this new head strap that is actually coming out. I don't know how much it's going to be, but it's slated to release sometime in 2017. I'll put a link in the description down below if you want to see what I'm talking about. It's a video done by Tested, but that head strap is something that I'm definitely going to get, because the other thing which I didn't know is that you could actually pop this little piece out, and this cord, this main cord that connects all the way to the PC, you could actually remove these cables and replace them. So if you ever have an issue with this cable, you can get a new set of cables. PlayStation VR, you can't, because if something happens to the cable, you have to buy the headset again. So that's also pretty nice. And the cable is only like 40 bucks, so that's another positive. Alright, so the last thing I'm going to go ahead and talk about before my camera battery dies is to inform you guys what VR games do I currently own for the HTC Vive. On PlayStation VR, I have over 50 games, but since this one is new, I need to get some games to kind of get me started, and I got some pretty good ones here. So the first three here I'm currently waiting to get, because I'm waiting for a transaction that's currently pending on Steam to go through, but these are going to be Vanquish Realms, Climb D, and Overkill VR. As for the main games that I currently have downloaded, bought, and installed right now that's on my PC are games such as Trials of Tatooine, a very short Star Wars experience, Tilt Brush, artistic game, fun to get, 20 bucks, Space Pirates Trainer, a $15 game, worth it. And then we have Rec Room. I haven't played it, just downloaded it today. We have another one called Raw Data, amazing game. And then we have another one, this one, you have to get this. If you love shooters, military shooters, Onward is a online multiplayer VR shooter. It's crazy. Watch some videos on Onward. Next up we have the one I got a review code for, which is the Mighty Monster Mayhem. The lab is free. Then we have Hot Dogs, Horseshoes, and Hand Grenades. Trust me, it's a lot funnier than it sounds. And then we have the Mini Golf Demo, Batman Arkham VR, and Audio Shield. So that's what I currently have right now. I'm probably going to be picking up Super Hot VR, which is exclusive to the Oculus Rift, but apparently there is this thing called Revive, where you could basically use the HTC Vive to play Oculus Rift exclusive games. So can't wait to check that out. But anyways, that's it for this video. I'm going to go ahead and let you guys know, let you guys go before my camera dies on me. But if you have any questions, let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll see you guys next time.